let me introduce myself first, and let me also tell you I haven't prepared anything whatsoever because I was called about the general topic, but I just came from court in the Netherlands. I just had a trial, and I sped towards Brussels. But I will discuss the importance of, as the lady said, the importance of evidence in the cases which I'm doing for the March 30th movement of the Abu Bujaja, and I believe he'll be here within 1 hour for the next panel, and for the Hind Rajab Foundation, which has been formed through the March 30th movement. Again, my name is Harun Raza. I've been a practicing criminal defense. Excuse my apologies. Could I get some water before I? Sorry. So, I've been a practicing criminal defense attorney for the past 21 years in Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and I've also been engaged legally in the cause of Palestine since 2008. And we have been bringing actions in the Netherlands at the local level, so at the prosecutor's level, as well as with the ICC from 2008 onwards in 2012, 2014, 2018, 2021, and now again in 2023 and 2024. And I regret to say that as lawyers, or as a lawyer, all I've been able to achieve in all of those years, and through my activism since I was 18, so that's a long time ago, is one criminal investigation in the Netherlands by the Dutch Public Prosecutor's Office, which was something. We were happy that in a Zionist country like the Netherlands, that was even possible, alhamdulillah. But anyway, back to today. So I've been asked to discuss evidence, discuss the way in which we are working through the March 30th movement and through the Hind Rajab Foundation. But let me start with something else. This morning, many of us woke up to terrible images from Gaza. I believe it was a tent encampment outside the Al Ahli hospital, where patients who were recovering, who were still linked up to their IVs, were burnt alive. And it's important to speak about these issues in a legal fashion, but as a human being, as a Muslim, as a European, I think we have to accept and ascertain the facts that our governments are part and parcel of what's happening right now. This is not happening in a void. Israel is not standing there somewhere in the Middle East without Dutch complicity, perhaps Belgian complicity, German complicity 1000%, and at least British complicity as well, regarding arms, regarding fuel, regarding political complicity, as well as complicity through the media, which I'll delve into if I have time, because I'm not sure how much time I have. 10 minutes, oh, all right, then I have to be very, very quick. When I saw those images, I thought of two things. Firstly, of course, terrible to see what's happening there. And you get a sense of dread, of course, as a human being. On the other hand, it's clear-cut evidence, back to the point of the lady, that war crimes, crimes against humanity, and after a year, I think anybody who's deaf, dumb, and blind can even say that genocide is clearly happening. The importance of these images is that it's quite clear that this was a deliberate act. I haven't heard the IDF denying that this happened deliberately. In fact, we'll probably hear within a few hours. Hamas was there, standard, as we know. Whenever citizens are attacked in the occupied territories, it's Hamas, 100%, so-called. So that's something which we'll hear within a few hours, I guess, or maybe they've already made a statement or something like that. But it's proof of intent, because a hospital is never a legitimate target. I remember one of the South African politicians once saying, you can find it on Instagram and on YouTube, if the head of Hamas, let's say, he isn't here anymore with us, the head of Hamas ran into a hospital, you still can't bomb a hospital. It seems quite logical, and according to human rights, it's very simple. But it seems as if we are living in a world in which everything is turned upside down. This has become normal. And I didn't hear my esteemed colleague's entire speech, but he's very right to point towards international law. However, international law is dead. If it was alive, this would not be happening. If it was alive, the Security Council would have intervened in November, not now. And even now, we can't even get a normal resolution from the Security Council condemning what's happening. They won't even condemn bombing a hospital. But anyway, back to the issue at hand. What we are doing is we are doing offensive litigation, which means we are targeting binationals in the Netherlands, in France, in Belgium, in Ecuador, by the way, wherever we can find them, through local lawyers and through other legal assets. And the bulk of the evidence is in fact formed using video and photographic evidence and metadata. Because as you probably all well know, when you take a picture or wherever you take a picture, metadata, XYZ data is stored in that picture. And that in itself is a piece of evidence which we can use to prosecute whoever you can see committing the crimes. Just last week, recently, we submitted a complaint against 1,000 IDF soldiers to the ICC, which we've also sent to a few other countries, to the embassies of a few other countries, for the following reason. We do not expect the ICC to do anything within 1 year. Let's be honest about that. They still haven't been able to issue arrest warrants against Netanyahu. In fact, the issue is still pending. I believe it's still in the first chamber, but just off the top of my head. So they can't even do that. However, one of the reasons to lodge the complaint as we did is because we are attacking the IDF legally on various fronts. And one of the fronts is, and my colleague just touched upon that subject, what we are trying to do is get one of the countries to put these soldiers on either the no-fly list or the national and international arrest list. The Interpol list, it exists. And you can put such people on an international arrest list and get them arrested, have them arrested. And I think that would be one of the first steps towards actually making sure that this genocide stops. International organizations haven't been able to do anything whatsoever. They can't even get water into Gaza. They can't get food into Gaza. So forget human rights. However, there are ways in which to ensure this. And one of those ways is that if IDF soldiers, and then I'm talking about privates, so lower tier soldiers, up to the generals and air marshals in the chain of command, if they know that we are targeting them, which we are, alhamdulillah, we are identifying them, we are stating places and situations where they are directly linked to, and we are providing more than 8,000 pieces of video and photographic evidence to support that, somebody somewhere has to arrest them. If it's South Africa or Spain or Ireland, or for all I care, Iran, it's not really important to us, as long as these people are arrested and brought to justice. Now, we've just lodged a complaint last week, so don't expect any arrests within 1 or 2 weeks. But I do expect some of these countries, not all of who are Zionist supporters, to actually do something with that list. I expect them to put some of the people of the 1,000 IDF soldiers on a national or maybe perhaps, inshallah, international arrest list. And I hope at least one of them is arrested, because what we hope to achieve is, if one IDF soldier is arrested anywhere in the world, I believe it happened a few weeks ago in Morocco, the rest of them, and remember, these are, and I say this without any fear whatsoever, these are cowards. If you are able to burn children from an F-35, which the Netherlands probably helped them build, if you're able to do that, there's no real masculinity about you. These are cowards, in essence. Otherwise, in Lebanon, they would be fighting face to face with Hezbollah, which they're not. But back to the point. If you get one of them arrested, or 5 of them, or 10 of them arrested, I'm very sure that the ease in which they are killing civilians right now will change. They will understand that they will be held accountable, either within 1 year or within 20 years. It doesn't really matter to us, as long as they are held accountable at the end of the day. They will be arrested, they will be prosecuted, they will be punished, and they will do jail time. If not in The Hague, somewhere else. You have to remember, many of these people, and we've seen that through our research, through the research which the Hind Rajab Foundation and the March 30th movement, I'm finishing, don't worry, has conducted, we've seen that they go on holiday. In fact, they post those things on their own social media, along with them committing war crimes. So they have to fly via, I guess, Istanbul. That's a shout out to Mr. Erdogan, for example, via Dubai. I don't know how eager Dubai will be to arrest anybody, but anyway, I'm nearly done. Or via some other hub, All one of those countries has to do is put them on the arrest list, on the watch list, arrest them once, or arrest 2 or 3 of them. And I'm very sure the Jerusalem Post, New York Times, Washington Post, and other Zionist leading outlets will publish that. And I'm very sure that that will mean that the speed in which these war crimes are being perpetrated will, inshallah, will slow down, and that we'll get somewhere. I have much more to tell you, however, I have 10 minutes, so I'm finishing right now, and if there's anything else, I'll hear that later on. Thanks so much for your time. Don't worry.